Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
It was a good okay, but
Yeah, that was good.
I come in a little I do have the international break blues. I'm just like, I'm flying, you're flying. I'm just like, what does it all mean, man? I just have to sit on it for 2 weeks, not watch games for 2 weeks. Sucks, dude.
Yeah. You know, FIFA overlords must get paid at any and all cost, much to our chagrin.
My mug right now says fuck FIFA, so there you go.
Yeah,
very timely mug.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's upsetting. And the other thing too, I was just thinking about this, how annoying it is for us, is like clubs like train never after preseason. They maybe get
time.
Four to 7 days on the pitch per month for training. And it's annoying because it gives us a worse product, but
yeah,
it is what we have.
And there's no summer tournament.
Yeah, well, there's FIFA
playing for
World
anything.
United Nations Championship League, World Cup of Saudi Americas, Asia, Copa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that those medals and flags fly high and fly forever.
They fly forever. I'll give you that.
We'll take that. But all right, so we roll here. What are we doing here? We had Game Week 7 in the books.
Yeah, let's look at Team Walsh.
I mean,
here.
me. Well, okay. Well, we'll bury the lead. So,
well, the lead is me talking you into captaining Holland over Saka. That's the fucking lead, and I'm not burying shit. Here's your team right here, Captain Holland.
That was unfortunate, but I mean, my lack of conviction was real. Because you were supremely confident when you strolled into the My Life and we talked about it, and I was like, whoa, like, okay, I'm missing something here. And I was just happy to capitulate there. But I told you, and I was like, literally...
You woke up at 2 in the morning.
It was maybe like 1:30. I mean, I maybe slept a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I opened my eyes and I like couldn't fall back asleep for a good hour. And I opened my app on my phone and I looked at it because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have to go back to Saka. And I looked at it and I like clicked the buttons, tapping. It's like 2 in the morning, and I looked and I was like, no, I like fucking relax, like chill, put the phone down. Like this is all fine, you know. And I didn't do it, and I paid the 14-point price, but
But still a green, still a nice green. You're still top 100K. Yeah, climbing your way back. I mean, we're still living in a world where not even everyone owns Saka. You know, even among active managers, he's only like 80% owned, which is crazy. You know.
Yeah. So, I mean, 58 points, I'm 96K. And, you know, if you told me I'd be 96K going into the, whatever, 5th international in break, I'd be like, sign me up for that.
Inject immediately.
Inject it into every vein of my body. So, actually, interestingly, just watched the Sopranos episode where Chrissy is going to inject all the things in Milan. He's just like, I'll see you. Hey, Tone, I'll see you again. Never. I'm just going to shoot heroin. But
with that fucking weird Italian guy.
Oh my god!
I love. He seems like so weird and sketchy. You think something really bad's gonna happen, then they just do heroin for the next 30 minutes straight.
Because you're right, your suspicions are accurate.
Well,
it's a thing over here, thing over there. But so Saka, whatever. Team Milan, go for it.
Flying. I mean, it's all Pickford. Same story. We basically have the same team, except I have Gabriel, where you have Robbo, which is a difference of 1 point, and I have Pickford and you have Raya, which is a difference of 13 points.
Well, our big difference is going to come to a 4 next week when I start the Dib God home to Leicester. You're going to be like, oh my god, I didn't have that hat trick for 4 or 5.
Dibbling looks good again.
He's so
that's
good.
The lead. Maybe that's the lead that was actually buried. Is Dibbling is just fucking legit.
But tell me about the
Calafiore and just doing
tell me about the fuckfording.
It was just the greatest. It was just, I feel like I haven't had a pen save in a long time, actually. I never get these random keeper hauls, but I was so from like day one of wildcarding, I was just like, I think Pickford's my fucking guy. And I just stuck with it. And he paid me. He repaid me. I mean, 15-pointer, saves a Gordon, evil Gordon, hatred, Everton, 10.
Yeah.
Beautiful scenes. I was actually curious, like, is he going to get max bones because of the new rules? And he did, but not by like 20. Like he did by 8. You know, if they conceded something. If they conceded though, I don't even know if he gets 1 bone.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, it was fucking amazing. I mean, getting a 15 from keeper is an automatic huge green.
Yep.
And automatic, like, he bought himself like 8 weeks in my team minimum. Like, he could get 8 straight 1-pointers, and I'm like, still net good.
He just did that, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he might do it again. We'll see. Yeah.
But that's the other thing with that, right? You get 15, that's basically 3 games in one, right?
Yeah.
Like you're getting 3 games worth of keeper returns in 1 game week. So and you didn't suffer for the whole season, only for like a couple. So you're really looking good.
Even a lower bar. Like you're hoping for 4 points a game. That would be great. That's 150.
You could
that would be fucking amazing. So getting 15 is the equivalent of like 4 returns almost in one. So just blank. I don't fucking care. The history books are written.
Yep.
But I'm up to 250k. No brand, no big deal. Just Tarko ripping down Tonali for a penalty because he's a big fucking dumb oaf.
You're in good shape.
Good shape. We're both in good shape. We have the same team.
Both in good shape. Yeah, same team, good shape. We rise together.
We rise for once. We usually don't.
Just the Saka cap is a tough one.
Yeah, it sucks. We have a question about it later.
All right.
League update. So I didn't do the September mug winners last pod because I don't know if the game was updated yet. But Matthew Bagley, aka Afternoon Delict, won. Great name. Hayden Hunter. By the way,
he had a funny thing too.
Who?
What was it?
What did he do?
Something about his his like address was like festival.
Oh, really? I haven't looked at it. I haven't shipped it yet. No, I didn't see it.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's not real, like a real thing. It's like something like from fucking Mary Poppins or something. It's like Festival on Trent or something.
That's amazing.
I don't know.
You want to guess his overall rank right now?
Who?
Matthew Bagley, Afternoon Delict.
Guess his OR. What is it like? 10?
It's 9. It's actual 9. It's actual 9. Even better. It's pretty fucking good to win a mug.
If you live somewhere that has the word festival in it, you're doing a good job.
You should be festing. Yeah.
Or maybe he's like a pikey from one of those Guy Ritchie movies and they just fest all the time.
I don't even know. His rank in the month went from 25k to 13k to 31 to 9.
It's pretty good.
Not bad.
He's just pushing all the right buttons.
Yeah, I mean, he captained Palm God in the 25-pointer. And then he captained Saka.
Chess man good? Over there. It's pretty good.
Jesus Christ.
He's the chess man.
He's only in the FMLFPL Mug League and the Sky Sports League. He's not even in the public league.
That's a man of my own heart.
Love this.
I love that. Yeah, this
love
is a good guy.
This guy. Okay, good job by you, Matthew. Second place, Hayden Hunter, aka Debbie Does Gallus. Third place, Jack Lyons, aka The Warriors. I've emailed all of you. I'll send out the mugs this week. And then the October mug leaders are Colin Capone, aka Hal Capone.
Kaepernick?
Alex Perry. Yeah. Alex Perry, aka Whack FC. Dylan Luke, aka Vardy's Brexit 11. We'll see how October shakes out. And let's go on.
All right.
Oh boy. Lot of stuff happened. And there's a lot of what I'm seeing in our questions in Discord is like we keep getting questions every single week this season about the premium mids. When's it time to get this one, sell this one, whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting questions about the cheap guys because every team has like at least 2 starting cheap guys, it seems like, in every team. And and then just a bunch of others around that. So
sure.
Let's just start with Saka to Foden. We got 3 questions on this. So Jao said the best of Saka's fixtures are done, though Bournemouth, of course, is still fine. Who are we looking to bring in for when the time comes? Mo and Palmer also have bad fixtures. Is it Foden? Mike Dunny said, should I reconsider switching away from Saka to, for example, Foden? I feel like I made this mistake every year. Jumping off a top player who's in form when the fixture's sour for a player who isn't yet in form with great fixtures never goes well. And then Team Doobie said, if KDB comes back, is Foden not a pick? So is Foden a pick, period? I feel like it's the first question.
Yeah.
Probably. Not definitely.
He's 9-2. I mean, I think there is something to be said about how bad City have looked immediately and post Kevin's injury.
Well, and Rodri.
I think I care less about Rodri because they were free scoring. I think it's more a correlate because he didn't play all year. But I mean, the way that they looked in the first 4 when Haaland was scoring a hat trick every game, that was when Kevin was playing all the games. And when Kevin got hurt, the last 3 games, they've been very mediocre at best and creating, and looking just less fluid and just looking more disjointed to me, where he's kind of jamming different, it's kind of round pegs into square holes type deal, and or the other way around. I'm not sure which one how that goes, but I mean, it's still just the fixture play, right? He's 9-2, and they have at Wolves, home Southampton, at Bournemouth, at Brighton, home Spurs. All 5 of those
got to be goals there.
Yeah, all 5 of those are really good attacking fixtures. I mean, at Bournemouth, you can maybe tell me otherwise, but 4 of those 5 are great attacking fixtures. So, I'm still a big proponent of fixtures breed form. And, if you're telling me like who's going to score more points, Saka or Foden in this window, I would definitely bet on Foden.
I think so, yeah.
But then it gets back to the team specific question of like, what am I doing with my team? Like, am I spinning wheels and using this? Is this a spot on my team that I'm going to spend multiple transfers on indefinitely? And if that's the case, then you better have everything else in check. And if not, then you can also look at Saka and say, well, they have a couple trickies, but ultimately he hasn't blanked. Yeah, he hasn't blanked all year. He has half the corners, the pens, the blah, 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 blah. Foden is still kind of, he has 1 box and it's open play goals.
It's like worldies.
Yeah, it's worldies from outside the box, and like the sporadic game where he late runs in and scores a brace or something with like one of those.
Like loose balls, rebounds, and a worldie.
Yeah,
that's a
low
Foden
XG
brace.
shots that he scores. And it's really hard to know when that's going to come. And so I think it's again right back to team dependency. If your team's in good shape and you're looking at like, I want to get another City attacker with Haaland, then I'm not going to say no, that's stupid. But I'm also kind of just hedging more towards like, I'd rather just probably keep Saka and look elsewhere in my team to use the transfers. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about the general everyone's team should do this or everyone's team shouldn't do this type of thing.
We're not talking about Boomo.
Yeah, right, exactly. But like, I agree with what you said. I mean, I think an easier way to look at it is like next 5-ish. Like, it's hard to imagine City don't outscore every team in the league in those 5 games. They're that much better fixtures than all the other best teams, right? Arsenal have Liverpool and a couple tough aways. Liverpool therefore have Arsenal and Chelsea, and City just have a fucking walk in the park. So it's like buying a ticket, one of these games. And I know from fucking experience last year, I'm selling Foden. I sold Foden twice before 2 hat tricks. I mean, his hat tricks are just random. You can't really plan for them. But if he's playing, I think you just want a piece. And like, as for using your transfers or holding Saka or whatnot, team dependent, totally agree. But in general, I'm going to be captaining Haaland in all of these. I'm definitely not captaining Saka in any of these.
Right.
So yeah, I do want to use my transfer there. I already have Haaland and I just want this other player to get more points. Right. Like for me, it's just like strictly, if this guy's going to outscore this guy in this window, I want him. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And where does it look in terms of Palmer being introduced here, because
that's
not a lot of
one.
not a lot of teams have Palmer and this flex spot for Saka or Foden. So presuming that you're excluding Palmer, is that still fine?
No, I mean
his fixtures are at
plan.
Liverpool, home Newcastle, at Man United, home Arsenal, at Leicester, home Villa. That's his run.
Yeah, I think the ideal would be by the way, Bournemouth, we could do a whole fucking episode on Bournemouth, but I do think there's 3 good teams in the league. I've been saying that since last year. For those teams, Bournemouth is a totally good fixture. They just score 3+ against Bournemouth every time. Because of how they play, because of the high press, how risky they are. Arsenal, I totally expect to score 3+. Liverpool did just score 3, etc. So I think everyone should be holding Saka this week, especially Palmer at Liverpool. It's just so bad. But yeah, I mean, after that, I think that basically, and this is kind of bleeding into a Watkins and Kai conversation a little bit, who we also got questions about both of them.
Let's have it.
But I think that ideally, Saka plus one of these forwards. In our case, we have both of the forwards, so we'll see how that works out. But Saka plus Ali or Saka plus Kai, that should probably be Foden and Palmer over the course of the next 2 game weeks, depending on how many frees you have, depending how settled the rest of your team is. But I have a shit ton of frees. I kind of want to do it right now. I want Ali to be Foden in my team now. That's already a big enough gap that I'm that could happen. And then next week after Bournemouth, Kai or Saka to Palmer in some sort of double move or just a straight swap, that also looks really good to me. And it's just playing the fixture. I'm still capping Haaland in every week. So just trying to, hit a Foden hat trick, hit a classic Palmer quad return and call it a day, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. And trying to capitalize on the fixtures, we have very many good picks and very few slots for them. Yeah. And it does feel like, the trick of the season is trying to spike those triple returns, when they're somewhat of a differential, just because everyone can't have everyone. So
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sitting here and I've been looking at you have more. How many frees? You have 3 or 4?
I think I have 4.
Yeah, I have 2, so I'm a lot more hamstrung
than
you are.
I have 4.
You have 4, yeah. So I have 2, so I'm a lot less, flexibility than you at this moment. But I mean, to me, I was looking at trying to turn Kai, Ali, and maybe Rodgers to Foden or Palmer, and then 2 kind of budget mid forwards. Yeah. So that but
it's just moving money around.
Yeah, it's moving money around, and it's it's really condensing it to these are the few spots in my team that I'm going to really play with, and save, play it for a fixture run, save, play it for a new fixture run, and so that seems good. I mean, and it seems too, because the defense has been so random that, even for me, obviously I've been lamenting Pau, and, they just keep their first clean sheet of the season, obviously. But
back Bayern and in the league now.
Yeah, well, fine. Yeah. But it's just even that, and Robbo, obviously I was very unhappy and upset to see him miss out on a clean when, in playing 10 minutes or whatever. But I just look at across the landscape and we're talking about Robbo to Gvard. It's they just fucking concede every game anyway. So I'm just okay, this is all fine back there. These are probably the spots that I need to fuck with. And, it feels that's...
Yeah, I mean, 4 transfers just because we're so used to a max of 2 feels like I have infinity transfers. I'm I have a wild card. But as soon as I do 3 moves to get in Palmer and Foden, I have none. You have to kind of be happy with your back line because, like you said, Robbo playing 10 minutes versus having Saliba. It's even if Arsenal clean, that's a 5-point difference versus Palmer could just quad return.
Yeah, I mean, really, what the big deal was, I mean, if I had Konate instead of Robbo, but I mean, with a wild card, that wouldn't have been a thing. But yeah, I mean, going back for you, it's you also don't need to spend 4. You could just do Watkins and Rodgers to Dibbling and Foden.
Easily.
And then you still have 2, and then you'll have 3, and then you can reassess. Like, yeah. So you have a lot of options this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously going to wait till, we're more towards the end of the break, but I'm definitely going to be making, like, I could see at least 2 moves probably and just wait on Palmer till after Liverpool. But
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? And like
or
the
shot,
thing,
you
the
probably
other thing,
Rodgers over shot, I guess, but
yeah, I would, yeah. The other thing with Palmer, right, is like I keep bringing up that there's only 3 good teams in the league, right? They've already played City, they play Liverpool this week, they have Arsenal in 11, which is unfortunate timing, but they don't play another one of those teams until game week 23. So I'm looking at Palmer, getting him in for home Newcastle, which is a good attacking fixture, and I'm just like, hard to imagine this guy leaves my team. No Europe,
and it's
90 every week, every box. That's the guy.
Yeah, which is interesting too, because I mean, you look at Saka, and he has home Liverpool in 9, and then he has a good run of fixtures similarly until February when he plays City at home.
Like, I think we should like target these kind of, write it down somewhere, put it on a fucking post-it note on your monitor or whatever. It's like, I'm looking at Arsenal there. We have them for Bournemouth this week. Then they're home Liverpool, at Newcastle, at Chelsea, home NFO, which is kind of tough. And it's like, okay, at West Ham, game week 13. By game week 13, I want Saka back in my team because, like you said, okay, I'm looking at game week 13. They don't play City or Liverpool until game week 24.
And like, but that's even like at Newcastle. Fine, like at
it's
Chelsea,
fine, but it's not good. At Chelsea, I think is not that great. I mean, I think they're the
that
fourth
game
best
could be
team,
crazy.
So it could be crazy, yeah. But I'm okay waiting on it at least. Whereas, like, I'm not that okay with waiting on West Ham, Man United, Fulham, Everton, Palace.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at the season, which leaves Mo as kind of the odd one out. I mean, Vikings said, what are your thoughts on those of us still owning Mo? How do we view him versus Saka and Palmer? And it's just tricky. It's tricky he's more expensive. He has an insanely bad run of fixtures. Especially if you include Champions League, he's just kind of the odd man out, right? I mean, like,
I mean, the price comes into effect hugely. I think, right?
Huge.
I mean, he's not just this. Like Saka and Palmer, even now, there's some distance between them in price, but Mo's $2 million more, and then it comes back to we all have Haaland, obviously. How many games are you capping Mo? I mean, 10. There's a shout home Brighton based on the suicide that they've been doing. 12 at Southampton. It's like, it's still away, but this is still, we have a couple years running too on Mo where like he's not getting younger. The Champions League, there are more Champions League group games than ever. They're playing 3 games a week, and like the performance he had against my team this weekend, where you guys cruised.
He was so tired, he didn't even play. Yeah.
I mean, he's just. I don't think he's going to keep getting better as the season progresses. He's just not in that age point. So, it does feel like it's like almost like we just have to cash the chips in on what look, he's obviously not going to get like a return every 2 games or every 3 games. He's better than that. But, if you're not capping him, you want to be having Saka or Palmer or Foden, over him. I think it's just very clear, right? And
I haven't looked at the other team. Obviously I'm a Liverpool fan. I roughly know their fixtures, but I'm 99% sure that even that Southampton game where we're like, oh, that might be the best fixture to captain him or whatever, it goes Southampton, Real Madrid, Man City. And guess which game he's not playing? That's a fucking Chiesa, Harvey,
I mean,
game.
we say that, but I mean, he'll probably play, but
he'll play some minutes, but I don't think he's playing 90, you know?
Which also, I mean, I did also, just touching on that, like, want to kind of come back around to this point of like the Champions League games after this international break. Like, we're starting to get to that point where teams are going to have to be rotating more, like the Liverpool game where they rotated 4. A lot of the top 4 Champions League teams are they have internationals that are going again. And, we're getting to a point where it's just they're not like really being able to train. It's just managing minutes and like, are you fit enough to play? And how many of these minutes can you play each week?
Yeah.
Which makes me look again back to the teams like we talked a lot about on preseason of like who's not in Champions League, like Bowen and
Cole fucking Palmer.
Yeah. Like
he's not even registered.
Yeah. Palmer's obvious, but like it's like Wood and those kind of players of like what are the non-Champions League teams? Well, I don't know.
Gordon or something. I could see that coming in.
I'm not there with them. I mean, I need to see some more before I buy any of their players again. But I mean, just that idea of like, it's coming. It's already been like it's going to be coming. It's going to be happening more. It's going to be just something that we're going to have to get used to. And
and December's 2 months away. And we know how that goes. And more madness, more crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about Ollie and Kai. Bennett said, "I'm watching the Villa game made me want to claw my own eyes out. Rodgers probably still worth it because of the price, but when do we decide Ollie's too expensive for a non-functioning attack?" Parmo said, "Is it time to lose Watkins? Looks like a mixed bag run ahead." And then Jow and Rob asking if it's time to sell Kai. Kai might be hurt. Bad fixtures on the horizon. Who are the replacements? He's only scored at home this season. He's away for 8 of the next 13. Just crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have to take these in 2 parts.
Yeah, they're different players.
Yeah. Where are you at with Kai?
I'm getting close to being like, I'm just fucking holding him. Like, I don't think I will because I think all of these moves that the aforementioned moves to get other premiums and reallocate the money, I think eventually I'm going to be looking at 8 million Kai, be like, all right, I gotta get rid of him. But for his price, he's still just absurdly good value, and he's been playing out of control good for like 8 months.
Yep.
And I just think that like there is a chance. Ollie, we'll get to Ollie. Fucking ship it. Put him on the first train home. I don't give a shit about owning him. But Kai, I'm just like, I could see him returning even in these bad games. And then like, we were just talking about before when, Saka's good run restarts or whatever, like gonna want Kai part of that too. It's not just Saka. Gonna want Kai in that good run for 10 game weeks also. Who's a fitness monster, underpriced, just great. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with Kai. What about you?
I mean, then it just comes back around like you can't have all these guys. You have to make choices, and I'm with you with Kai. It looks like he's just hitting a new level, and
he's so good.
He plays every second, and he has 5 returns, and he's probably been good for a bit more.
Yep.
And I mean, he's just so good. Love the team, love the player. And like you're mentioning, we just talked about this good run for Saka. You're going to want Kai too. But at the same time, you can't have Kai and Saka and Haaland and
Saka,
Palmer.
Foden, Palmer, Haaland. Yeah, you just run out of money.
That's not going to work. So where is the sacrifice? Where is the accommodation?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean,
I'm actually very close to having that. Just punching it in right now. I literally am 0.2 off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you just maybe need to downgrade a defender or something to get the money.
Something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But Kai is just great, and you could definitely hold him through any of these fixtures if you can, afford the other guys that you want and just don't even think about it, because he looks like he's going to finish up somewhere in the 180 region this year, right? Like, and he's 8.3, whatever now, but he's way he's way going to overperform his price point for what you commensurately expect.
Yeah, I mean, you could see him
should have been a
coming
9.5 forward.
Yeah, like he'll be 9.5 Ollie-ish price next year, for sure.
Ollie though,
it's more like an Emery conversation almost. I mean, like that game was just. I mean, like Bennett said, claw your eyes out. I mean, that was one of the worst games, maybe the worst game of the year. Yeah. I mean, everyone on earth, including Manchester United supporters, know that Manchester United are just there for the taking. They line up with a fucking joke midfield, joke defenders. They're a fucking joke of a team. And Emery just like plays for a draw. And just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Only 2 attackers allowed on the pitch at one time. You know, Duran's not going to literally score every game to bail them out, which seems like he's almost kind of relying on that, which is really stupid. And, you know, Ollie is basically premium. You know, I mean, we're living in this world where Haaland's on his complete own island of price. We're like shifting out of Mo because he's too much more than the other mids. And that means premium is in and around 10, right? That's Palmer, Saka, Ollie, Foden, all within like $1 million or $1.5 million of each other. And just does not seem worth the premium. Like, it's hard to imagine Villa keeping up with these other incredible teams scoring wise, especially when they have a bad run of fixtures. They have away Fulham, which is tough. They have home Bournemouth, and I don't trust them like I trust Liverpool, Arsenal, and City to score 3. That's a tough fucking game for them.
At Spurs is the best one.
At Spurs is good for Ollie. I feel like he always double returns there. At Liverpool, you know, home Palace. Palace defensively are still okay, even though they lose every fucking game. No, but they're not getting. You're not getting killed.
Yeah, well, we could be. We could have been getting killed, but we were riding our luck. But and
then away Chelsea. Like, it's just a really bad run, and I just do not think he's worth it. And listen, he got me points, and you know, I'm fine with the pick on wild card because he got me points. But like, man, I don't know. It just feels like I'm already just pretty set on he's not in my team anymore.
Yeah, it seems to me more as just the games are catching up to them, and they've had a lot of injuries that they really cannot have been withstanding. Like in addition to just Kamara still being out, which is so detrimental for them. But you know, with Onana, Ramsey, McGinn, like
Bailey's in and out.
Yeah, Bailey's been in and out. Konsa now. I mean, Cash is back, which I don't even know if that's good for them. They just don't have a good squad to compete to fight all these fronts. And it looks like this game was like he's looking at his team and saying, if I ask them to do anything else, we're probably going to lose.
Could have lost. I mean, there were multiple breakaways where Man United players just completely fucks it up. And,
Emi had a good save or two.
Emi had some good saves. Garnacho can't complete like a side pass, and you know they get away with it. But like,
so I mean, how does that project out into the next month? You know, badly.
Very badly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I mean, there are multiple picks that I would prefer to have over Watkins. And still, you know, I mean, I looked at them all year. I've been shitting on them all year. Literally all year. I'm
points.
like this team looks terrible. They look defunct. I mean, Bayern game, my take is in the mud. This game, I'm back. Like
you're back,
my take
baby.
is for the, my take is only for the.
And he has it's so over, and we're so back.
I mean, it's like scuffed goal that deflects in, like double return, like goal against Wolves, and you know, I mean, he still has 6 returns in 7. Yeah. So they are playing as badly as I've ever seen them play, and he has 6 returns in 7. So. It's still like that still just plagues me, you know, and we still don't know who's on pens. Like we think it's Tielemans, like we don't know.
We think it's Tielemans, could be Rodgers, could be Ollie, could be
it could be anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
And I mean, and Rodgers. I mean, we're talking about Ollie, but I mean, Rodgers looks very bad right now. Like I mean, he looks like he's been starting a game every 3 days for 2 months, which he actually has been.
Yeah,
and there's no end, like there's no rest in sight. But he was. But absolutely a 0 out of 10 in this game. He was horrible.
But his price just gives him such a long rope. That's the big difference. It's like
it does, but I'm saying more of like, is he a starter or is he someone that we need to rotate? Because that's where it gets sketchy. Because you know we're looking at needing all these budget picks that we're starting when we're putting in jamming all these premium guys in. If we're doing Saka, Palmer, Foden, Kai, whatever, Haaland. I mean, I think that needs to be analyzed also kind of as a separate conversation because, you know, I mean, if they go out and do this, I mean, he's a tough case, but.
And they also have Champions League, right? I'm pulling up their fixtures on my phone because my internet's being weird, but it's, you know, it's away Fulham, home Bologna, home Bournemouth, home Palace and EFL Cup, whatever, he'll rest guys. away Spurs, away Bruges, away Liverpool, home Palace, home Juventus. Like, it's just...
It's bad. For them, it's bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
They
like, it
can't
makes
just change 5 guys and win these Champions League games.
Yeah, they'll just lose. Any game they make 5, they just lose that game immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me want to just kind of get rid of Rodgers and Watkins and just get out of here until they get eliminated from Champions League. They lick their wounds, and then maybe we revisit this in like February or something.
Right. Yeah, because 1 game a week and a good run or something like that. Because they also have like...
They're going to keep getting... It's going to keep getting worse.
And I was just talking about, like Arsenal's long run and Chelsea's long run of like splitting up the best teams. But, Villa have away Liverpool in 11, away Chelsea in 13, home City in 17, away Arsenal in 22. So they really don't have that equivalent long run. It's like every 3 weeks, you're like, I don't even want to start my players in this game. Right. And that's just like, that's not what you want from a premium spot.
Right. Yeah. Villa in trouble.
Yeah. And a little bit of actual not in trouble, but in FPL, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Let's talk about premium defenders. I mean, Gare and X50 want to get rid of Robbo. He said Robbo feels like a straight up bad pick. Bard or Gabriel. Bergening said, where are the Arsenal cleans? Fabrizio, are there any premium defenders worthy of moving away from Trent? He's trying to make money to flex to Palm God. And then Jeff D, what do you think about getting a City defender if we already own Haaland and Rico? Should we worry about saving a spot for Foden or someone else? Is this just the case of... Because I think we are both on the same page of just like, I don't really want to use my transfers here in this type of season where there's legitimately like 5 elite premiums.
Yeah.
Is that the answer to all the questions?
No, I mean, I think you if you can make money on your transfer because you need money, then that's okay. But like if you're going from a premium start every week to Leaf Davis to make money, then I think you have to ask yourself some questions because that should destabilize your defense like comprehensively, where that's not maybe going to be in the best interest. But I mean, as a Robbo owner, I think that he's still a great pick. I mean, I don't agree that he's just a sell because he didn't start the Palace game. You look at even Gvard, right? And has he started every game? No. No one is. None of these players are
Arsenal center backs and Trent. Like for the premiums, that's who starts every game.
Yeah, that's about it so far. And Konate and Virgil.
Yeah. All center backs, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the center backs. And, so I think it's, a lot of like don't buy, don't sell, just kind of hold where you are. But yeah, I still just feel like you want to have a couple of these guys in and you just want to, ride them out and, hope you get the run of the green kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is we're playing the long game. As of right now, our stance is both we're playing the long game in defense and eventually Arsenal are going to keep some cleans. Eventually Gabriel is going to get his head on another donger. Eventually Robbo is going to get you an assist and a clean or whatever. And using our transfers in the other places in the team just feel like way, way higher upside. So I'm just going to keep doing that for now. And listen, we're both doing great. So
yeah, it's been working everyone. So far.
Yeah.
Rico,
good pick. Oh, we got some keeper questions. It's your time to shine. Jeff D said, are West Ham such a mess that you can condone a keeper move if our team is in decent shape, or is that just never worth a free and wait until wild card? And then Jitterbug said, I have some frees and I need a Bart replacement. I questioned the premise. He said, do you agree still that Raya is the best keeper? But is it still better to get someone like Pickford because it doesn't block you from getting 3 other Arsenal guys who might be better?
I mean, we've been here with Areola, literally last year.
I feel bad with the Areola shout. I mean...
Yeah, you missed that one. We both did. I had started with Areola. I mean, it was good for me. I had the clean.
You got the one clean. Yeah.
But...
They do look fucking horrible. They look so bad.
Yeah, they look so bad. And, I mean, Bart now they look worse than West Ham, honestly.
Well, they look like it seems hard for them to not concede. I mean, that said, they just played against Chelsea and Spurs, who are maybe the 4th and 5th best teams in the league. But they also have Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, 3 of the next 4. But like, I'm still not using a transfer there. Like, let's just imagine a world where I wildcarded in 4 or something and I chose Bart as my keeper and I'm in the same situation as Jitterbug here. I'm not using my transfer. Do you think that's stupid? I don't know. He got back-to-back zeros. It's obviously bad, but like, I don't know. I think I'm still doing the same moves that I'm planning on doing, and Bart is not a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to, I think I feel like we haven't had this conversation in a few years, but like with keeper, you want to ideally hold the pick forever until essentially until your next wild card, whether it's your first one or your second one or the season ends.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there looking at an absolute disaster nightmare, like
every week.
One of the worst. So the earlier you do it, even if you just look at it, this is a -4, period. It's just a -4. Forget about how many free transfers you have. You're taking a -4. The earlier you do it, the more weeks you have to gain those points back. So I probably would just rip it as fast and soon as possible because, you look at Bard and it's like, okay, in 2 months, Van Hekkenen comes back and then they're back to being just a mid-table defense. Yeah. I'm like, what am I doing? Ariel is like, they have all the defenders in and, okay, sure. Tadebo's in a build, understanding with Kilman and, maybe, Guido and fucking Alvarez.
Feels wrong calling someone Guido, doesn't it?
That's his name, right?
I know it's his name, but I just feel it feels wrong coming out of my mouth to just be like, oh, fucking Guido is playing DM today. I'm like, whoa, relax.
It's fine. So, I mean, looking at that is like, do we really expect them to improve to the point where they're keeping like cleans on somewhat of a reliable basis? Like, no, it's like Flecken is like, they play 8 center backs, it feels like every game. I mean, they suck. Like, they fucking suck. Horrible. They just are open and they're... So, I mean, when you have these picks, I'm just, you're looking at it as like, when is this going to get better? The answer is probably like, it's not. And you fucked up and you made a mistake. So I don't mind, honestly, just doing it now, as long as you're getting someone like, Raya or Pickford.
Someone really safe.
Yeah. Or
even
Bob Monster.
You make a good point. Yeah.
Like even Bob Monster, like, look, they're not a great defense, but they're not mid-table. Like they've been good, like strong, and he's fucking cheap. He's 4.7. So then you don't have to ship funds around. But like if you sit there with Bob Monster, you're like, okay, I got to hold him until my wild card in game week 26. For sure. No problem. Like you're
the 4th best team in the league. They're maybe the 4th best defense in the league. Like,
you're happy to do that. To do that.
Yeah.
And like to me is like it's game week 7. So over the next 20 game weeks, like that's going to be a -4 that you're going to probably get paid back in. So, but if you wait until game week 14, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like.
Yeah. If you wait until wild card, you're just going to look back at your season review and be like,
why did I do that?
I held Ariola, who got me 1.8 points per game.
Yeah, it's like that. Those were 30 points that I just didn't do because I was a fucking pussy.
I'm sold. Yeah, I'm sold. Yeah. Okay, fine. Do it. Rip it. I like the Bob shout because I like that, at least he's right in the price bracket. He's cheap. You're not going to need 3 Chelsea spots. You're not going to have 3 Chelsea spots ever. I'd rather
have
obviously.
I'd rather have him.
I trust Daesh and a good run and just blindly holding this fucking idiot psycho and just get the points.
Yep. Yeah,
how many seasons in a row has Pickford just been fine?
Every season.
Sometimes he's good. Like sometimes he scores 153, 161, 145. Every other year, totally fine.
Yeah.
Your worst case is
average.
Fine.
He's average. Worst case is he's average 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, and best case is he's literally highest scoring keeper in the league.
Yeah. And he's 4.8 now, so you're getting him at a discount. So
yeah. Okay. I like it.
Do you have any qualms about? It's really Flecken, it's Brenham, Brighton, and Western. Like, do you see any of those 3 teams in the next month being like, are we going to have a different position in a month?
Like, are any of these three teams going to be the Everton of last year or the Ward version of the year before, where everyone sells and then they rattle off a few?
No. I mean, whatever about like historical, like luck based things, but just your outlook on those three teams, like, and their defenses. Do you think that any of them in a month we're going to be like, oh yeah, of course they're fine? Like, I guess Brighton is the one that I have the most hope on.
Brighton is the only one. Okay. I don't actually I wouldn't strongly plant my flag and no, I believe in Hurtzler defensive record, but
I mean, they just conceded fucking 8. It's just insane to think that, right?
I still think the point is they were fine. It's just until they played great. They got absolutely destroyed by Chelsea and then they played Spurs, right? Like they were fine and they were good for the cleans that they got, and they could have gotten, it could have cleaned Man United, it could have cleaned Forest, even though.
Yeah, and the NFL game was a little bit bizarre. I mean, they might just be flat track bully cleaners.
Yeah, which is
where the bad teams can't. Yeah, the bad teams can't cope with their activity.
Yeah, I mean,
but when they play the good team, then they just get ripped apart.
Arsenal, Liverpool, and City, that's the best you can get.
And that's kind of what's happened. Yeah, it's kind of what's been happening too with them. It's kind of
that's kind of
actually
the Onana story too, right? It's they're gonna get destroyed by anyone good, but he has 4 cleans.
Yeah,
and they kind of deserved all 4. They didn't really concede shit in those games.
I mean, he's literally the top scoring keeper is Onana.
Yeah, Onana.
That's insane.
One of the worst teams in the league. And he has 4 cleans. It's really wild.
That's crazy. Yeah, That's crazy.
So, I do think that there's a chance that Bart 1 bites you, but at the same time, it's it's a -4 at worst, right? Is he going to outscore Bob Sanchez by 20 points? No, that's not going to happen. So worst case is you're just taking a hit for your keeper, which is not great, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Best case, you do outscore Bart by 20 points, and then you're flying. So I like it. I think I like it.
Okay. Can we? I don't know the questions, but can we talk about Spurs for a little bit?
Yeah.
I know you didn't. You missed that game, right?
Yeah. I mean, I caught up on the. I've been going to Reddit and finding they call them mini matches. I think it's an Australian thing, but it's so much better.
Maybe they only have that because it's Ange, so they only have it for Spurs.
Yeah, only Spurs, yeah. But it's a 30-minute highlight package of you basically see almost everything that happens in the game, as opposed to fucking 5 replays of a VAR offside goal, what you see on Match of the Day or something. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tell me about that game. I mean, obviously they Spursed it up, but they got a lot of points before that.
Yeah, I mean, the first half was just, they could have had 4, they were completely destroying Brighton, and then, the game turned completely backwards and upside down. But I think just more from the FPL standpoint of, they have so many players that are so cheap. I mean, we have Matto 7.5, BJ 6.5, Dom 7.6, and... I would like to. I don't think talking about Brighton is that important because I'm interested in Jorginho, Ruder looks somewhat interesting.
Welbs is fucking flying.
Welbs is interesting, but they have really bad fixtures, so I don't think that's this is the time to talk about them. But I mean, with Spurs, it's I feel like I'm almost between two stalls. They're just so awkward because their prices are they're not expensive, they're not really cheap. They're not Boomo. How am I fitting them in?
Yeah.
And I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that. But I'm also just looking at their fixture. I mean, they have home West Ham, at Palace, home Villa, home Ipswich, next 4, at City. Then it's home Fulham, at Bournemouth, home Chelsea, at Southampton. So I don't know. I mean, it's okay.
Caliberon. Yeah, it's good. I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And then there's a couple of little banana skins. And then it's but... I don't know. I mean, how are you seeing Spurs just moving forward? Matto looks like getting Max Bones on his goal game is, he's just been pulling the strings and just active in the final third a lot. And BJ getting these big chances. I think BJ is one of the most players in the league that have most shots in the box kind of situation again. And
he's doing
Dom
the thing, right? I listen to the Kaylee pod again, right? He's doing the stuff, and
Dom
you kind of take
farming.
The assists out of his game, which was all the air in his numbers, and he's still fucking amazing. I mean, I think that where I was 2 weeks ago was I'll probably be doing Kai to Dom, around now or next week. And I think that I'm pumping the brakes on that a little bit. I think what we're seeing from Dom is good player, good value for money in the transfer window by Spurs because he's going to play 90 minutes every single week and just always produce. But it doesn't really feel like a great FPL pick to me. It still just sort of feels like his upside's one return. Like he's going to
be like a 170.
Guy. Yeah, like he'll get a goal, he'll get an assist. Like he's not going to hat trick. I mean, I remember he had a fucking insane hat trick last year where it was all like the most crazy header finishes ever. Yeah. Like that's a Dom hat trick. It's like not a real one. Whereas I look at BJ, $1 million cheaper. I look at Matto and I just see so much more upside there. Like Matto obviously has, as you mentioned, the Max Bones upside, but he has avenues too. He's already double return this year. He's 2 double-digit hauls.
He takes some corners and shit, right?
Yeah, corners, all this random shit. He took basically everything that made Poro so attractive. Is Matto's now doing that stuff instead. Yeah. And then BJ, he's right on the cusp of like these budget guys, right? He's less than $1 million more expensive than Semenyo, and he just feels like scoring every game doesn't feel like some crazy unsustainable thing. He's legitimately getting huge fucking chances every week, and he's not Adama.
Yeah, he's really interesting. Like
he's just really good.
It seems like he's also just actually improved. Like,
oh my god, so much.
He's not just doing stupid dumb shit like I'm used to seeing him do.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's like his touch is better, his decision making is better. It just looks like they've coached him, and he's just maturing a little bit more. And
whatever scout found him, like promote that guy because like scout. Numbers and everything he was doing for Forest was just like he's just bad. He's just a bad football player.
Yeah,
and he gets there an Ange system, and it's a good. Good shout for Ange too there that he can just buy this player and turn him into like kind of a star, like young star winger. But that's just what he is now. Like I've seen enough. Every week he does this shit and he'll miss chances. Every winger does ever. And he gets big chances every week.
I mean, it's also just, it's tilting because if Son was playing instead of Timo,
oh my god, he would have had a brace.
30 points, more than he has currently, and that's. I don't know. I'm a little bit back on or different with you on Dom. I think that Dom is still like a really good pick. I think watching them play honestly is like almost like enticing me a little bit more with him because I think he does have more like goal assist game potential because like a goal and an assist because I mean look how many fucking chances is he he's creating chances every game and I mean again like once Timo's out that helps a lot and that hopefully is happening soon but look he's not gonna have pens but the volume is just so high and it's so intense that he also he's fucking just got there. I mean he's played 4 games like he was hurt he didn't he's barely played with them so the understands are going to be better. It's like but to me it's like playing with this, dual 8-10 with Matto and Kulu in the middle. Like that has just made them, they're just all attack all the time. There's so much space. Like their games are it's like watching Wolves, but all their players are good. And with Wolves, it's like all their players fucking suck ass. So you don't want any of them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I wasn't trying to say Dom's a bad pick at all. I was just kind of like the other two are more enticing to me. Like Dom is such a solid pick. You will never have to transfer him out. I don't think he's ever going to be a bad pick in your team. He always has a shot for a goal. He always has a shot for an assist. Super solid. Team attacks relentlessly. But like, as I'm just imagining like where my team's going to be in the next month or something, and I'm redistributing money and I'm going for all these premiums and whatever, it's like, that spot's going to be like wood. Like I'm going to save $1.5 million there as opposed to saving $1.5 million in midfield. It's like what I'm imagining.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I mean, to me, it's just they attack. So when I was going into the Brighton game, I was like, I'm fucking terrified of like Dom
Dom and
like I don't give a shit about Matto because he's like I'm like whatever. He might do a thing like I don't care. But like
he might
Dom, I'm just like
50. Yeah.
Yeah, like Dom could do a goal and 2 assists. Like Dom could brace with an assist. And I'm like
take a pen.
Everything. Yeah, and I just feel like as the season progresses and I keep watching, their games playing when he's playing with them, is that like he's so integral in their build up and he also just floats around. And like the Leicester game in the game week 1, like he could have had 2 or 3 returns.
Yeah.
Where I just feel like maybe he does hit like a 190, a 200 point. Like I think that's
what
possible.
If I told you that Dom had 0 shots? What would you say to that?
I would say, he could have had 3 assists.
Yeah.
And
because he was basically playing midfield.
Yeah, he was. That's a lot of game state stuff where they were playing the high line. He was the ball that was pinging to Timo and to BJ behind and
center defensive mid.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like he could have had 2 or 3 assists. Like that would have been fair on the game state. And he was also on pens the whole game because Son's fucking out. So I don't know. I feel like I could see myself doing Dom in. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
listen, I was just saying I'm 0.2 away from making those moves that I want.
Yeah.
Kai to Dom. Boom. That could be my move. And with how bad Kai's run is upcoming, and he might be hurt. We don't even know the details of that. He's not
definitely a diddling.
Yeah, probably a diddling, but he's not going to Germany for fucking the break. Yeah. But I mean, because in this run.
Yeah,
and how long Son's out? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? He's going to military duty. Who gives a fuck? But
I thought the other was the one non-liar that we had left in the team. But even he's a fucking lying. Yeah, they're fat all frauds.
They're either fat or bald. They all lie. The interesting
lying
one too
is static. They're either fat or bald. Beyond that.
Like the other thing too with Dom and looking at jamming another, whether it's Palmer or Saka or Foden in midfield, is, I mean, how confident are we in starting Wood, Delap, like Welbs? I mean, these are our shitters, like they're just shitters. I'm like not that confident. Like I feel like, I mean, we talked about, who are we capping, right? And like how many budget picks are we jamming in to put in the extra premium pick versus just spreading it around, going back to that? Yeah. It's worth considering because
it is.
Wood, they should not have scored a goal against Chelsea. I mean, maybe
it was in the balance of finish. It was crazy.
But I mean, it was just a set piece, like whatever. I mean, he wasn't playing. He just didn't do anything. So,
that's just how they play against every good team. Like that's we know that now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's how they play against every good team. No one's fucking like rotating Wood, or like, I'm gonna just bench Wood, So, and same thing with like, we talked about DCL where he had like a couple good games, but I mean they're a fucking dysfunctional mess. I mean, they barely can do anything. I mean, he
looks like a fucking moron.
Yeah, I mean, he gets like a shot a game off, but even in a good run, and
who rotates well with Wood? Rodgers.
Well, Rodgers might not rotate well with anyone because he's fucking tired as shit.
Yeah, but Wood's only 2 bad fixtures in the next long time are away Arsenal, away City. The 2 of the worst 3 fixtures in the league. And Rodgers is home Palace, home Brenham.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. But I mean, let's talk about the cheap guys because that's the last like big grouping of questions that we got. Jeff D said Kova. Jitterbug asking about Buonanotte. He's 5-0. Zhao said, how does Delap compare to the other cheap guys? Catherine, our Jim or Delap picks. And then Ethical with the longer one. He said, usually I don't like spending transfers on cheap guys, but it feels like there are more points to be had than usual from McNeil, Buonanotte, Welbeck, Delap, etc. Is it worth spending transfers dabbling in the cheap guys, trying to catch the best fixtures? For example, Semenyo or Buonanotte now, or just make your picks and stick with them? And then side note, he wants to add to the glossary. Can I call dabbling in the cheap guys dibbling? Which I like. Yeah. Dibble in the cheap guys. So are any of them good? I feel like is the actual question.
Yeah.
Like are any of them start every weekable?
I don't think so. I feel like
somehow Delap has 4 goals, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean they're like, look, Ipswich are playing good stuff, but they're just they're very bizarre goals. And do we know who's on pens for them?
I think we still don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's him, then you can maybe start talking.
Yeah, he'll get double digits if it's him.
Yeah, I mean, if they get, you assume a pen. If you're on pens, you're giving like about 3 goals.
Somehow last year they only got 3 pens in a league
in the Flamp in 50 games.
50 fucking games, and Ali Al Hamadi took 2 of them, and George Hurst took 1 of them. So maybe it's Hurst.
Oof. Yeah.
I don't know. Welbs might low key be the only one of these where I'm like, yeah, you could start Welbs every game.
Yeah, but their fixtures upcoming are horrendous.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. He's good.
And then in a month and a half, when their fixtures get less, like, who knows who's going to be fit for them?
Pedro's back and Ferguson's back.
It could
and
be
all
anything.
This shit. Yeah, I mean, Jim is interesting. Catherine asking about Jim just because. He is, I think I said this on last spot, he is a transfer waiting to happen. I guarantee there will be a switch in form at some point this season where Muniz starts starting games and Jim's on the bench, and you'll have to deal with that then. But for now, he's playing so well.
Yeah.
I think like riding that is fine. Like Fulham have a good run. You could just start him until he stops starting, and just I'm happy with Jim there if you like need this price.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, they have a wide berth. They have a really good run for 2 months, basically.
Yeah.
And he should, as long as he's fit, keep playing those games. And 5-6, yeah. I think I would put him top of the heap. I mean, DCL is the one that just is so aggravating because he ticks all the boxes. They have good fixtures, and yet still, it's like he just played Leicester, Palace, and Newcastle, and just 2-1-2, and I'm like, oh yeah, because you're fucking terrible. Like, you suck, and the team you play for sucks. So
it's really hard when, like, if you're gonna choose someone who is the worst finisher in the league, which he has been for years, you need volume just to like counteract that. Like, I mean, Solanke also one of the worst finishers in the league, but he gets fucking volume and plays 90 every week. But like in these games, like you just mentioned their fixtures, I mean, their last 2 games are home Newcastle, home Palace. Palace haven't won a fucking game all season.
Hey, whoa.
Hey.
We know.
Listen, I'm fly Eagles fly or whatever the fuck you guys said. But
I know.
He's getting 2 shots in each of these games.
I'll show you 2 shots.
It's just not enough. It's not enough.
It's not good enough.
It's not good enough. I need him to be getting humongous chances every game because he's not going to finish the good chances regularly. So he needs more than normal to be a good pick. It's just hard.
All right.
McNeil, I still like. Cheap.
Yeah.
Good price.
You're a McNeil stan. We know that.
Yeah. I mean, he looks good. He's playing in the middle. He's creating a million chances. Good on bones. Like, I still think he's good, but yeah, I mean, so what do you think is your answer to ethicals? Like, are you using transfers on these spots, or are you kind of just like treating it like defense? Like, if they're starting and they're decent and whatever, then I'm using my transfers on the premiums and just forgetting about it.
I mean, it's not reasonable to respond to the question with a generalization. It's just so team dependent. I mean, it's like you're giving and getting so much for which way you're going. Are you going for premium mids, so you're going to cheap forwards? Are you is this one spot, or is this somewhere you want to upgrade because you have this shitty guy that you want to downgrade elsewhere? Like, it's not fair. But I mean, I think it's more of like, we're talking about which ones we like, and it's, Raul, if we're backed into a corner, it's, maybe Wood because he has pens, 6'2", it's questionable. I mean, Dom's in the other bracket where it's like, anyone less than Dom, I'm not thrilled with starting on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Even like Semenyo, I look at him in my team, he's in your team, he has Arsenal and City, 2 of the next 3. Shrug my shoulders. He could get a return. He'll probably blank.
You just bench
totally
him.
Fine. I mean, totally fine. Like, that is what it is. Fine.
You bench him. Like, you start him, or you bench him if you can.
Bench him, great. If you can't, fine. I'd rather
imagine not
save
having
a free.
Dib God. You don't have Dib God.
I don't have
home Leicester, home Everton.
Oh my God. Scary.
Rotation.
Scary.
Easy.
Scary.
Easy.
You ready to jam through some questions? Call it a day?
Yep. Yeah. Let's do it.
Joao said, post-international break tends to be terrible with shock results and other randomness. Should we just hold our freeze if we don't have injuries, just roll for a week after, or is there moves worth making that week? I think it's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, I generally like to hold fast because the fixtures, the way they look on paper, are not necessarily the way they look like in the locker room because of who's coming back and who's available. Like, it's not just a regular week where everyone's fit and firing and, you can expect what's expected. So I do, if you can, I think, holding.
Yeah, I think it's okay. A good week to just expect like weird, dumb shit's going to happen and I'll figure it out next week. Yeah. Brian said, when the fuck will Eze become a pick? Toxic question, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's not now. So.
It's maybe never. We'll see. Fed, when is the next Palmer quad return scheduled? Stay tuned. Just get him in your team. Jonathan, who's essential for game week 8 wild card? That's kind of interesting.
People that are wild carding now?
I mean,
Jesus, it's insane to wild card now, I feel like.
It's really hard because what do you do with Palmer? I mean, you just get him, right? Anyway, even though
I don't think so. I think that's like what we were talking about. I think it's like you earmark the spot for him with the money in the bank
use your free next week.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're definitely going with Triple City.
Yeah. What's your triple
obviously
up?
Boomo.
Rico, Holland, Foden?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I would also be inclined to play with triple Arsenal defense, with Raya and 2 defenders. Because I think like over the long haul, I think you're going to do okay there. And, you're going to spin a lot less wheels looking at transfers and trying to figure that out. Trying to make up points maybe elsewhere. And, we like Kai, we like Saka, sure. But there are a lot more alternatives in attack and midfield, I think, than there are in forward and midfield than there are in defense.
So no Trent?
No, I think you could do Trent, Raya, Gab, Saliba, and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
With Greaves and, maybe even another 4-0.
Yeah, because you could argue that like those are the only good defenders in the entire game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely you can. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to put in goalkeeper. And those
I'm wondering
3 defenders,
what spot you would put in as a placeholder for Palmer. And honestly, I mean, this might sound counter to everything we've said in this podcast. I think I'm jamming Mo in the team and transferring immediately out after 8. Home Chelsea, no Cucurella, no Fofana. They're always a fucking mess, Chelsea. I think I'm jamming Mo in the team, if I can, for 1 week, assuming you're going to do a 1 week punt, assuming you have like 3 frees, coming out of your wild card with 3 frees or something, and then do Mo to Palmer next week. And just a shout. But
that's crazy. Maybe if you have a bunch of frees, you could do it.
Yeah, well, if you don't have a bunch of frees, I think you should just have Palmer because then you don't want to use one the next week. But yeah. Benji, are we overthonking by not having Jota? Diogo J. Out of position, Liverpool 9, who starts basically every game. Maybe.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, look at his minutes. Like, he's not playing a great game. He's getting some returns recently, but
he started every game except 1.
They play more games. Like, they have great depth. I just
and bad fixtures.
And bad fixtures. I mean, they've played their best fixture run of the season. It's behind now. So I think there are more mitigating circumstances for points in the future than there are, for looking at the future outlook and saying like, this is an obvious pick. And
I think so.
I don't know. I
sort of think the lesson to learn with Jota and Diaz is that we should have entertained going with them game week 1 more than we did. But the lesson isn't like I should be having these guys in my team right now, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Diaz is price dropping because he just missed a game
Everyone fucking got the leak and benched him. It's so fucking annoying. They should have been punished.
Yeah. But I mean, look, like he scored 3 double-digit hauls through 5 game weeks, and now he's just plummeting in price because he blanked and then he was benched. Like Jota's going to have that timeline multiple times till the rest of the season. So will Diaz. Like Diaz is going to come back in, start 4 of the next 7 and score goals, and it's So I mean, it's like at the end of the season, will they both have 170 points? Like probably so if they stay fit. But also, like, were they the best FPL picks? Like, if you rolled the dice exactly, you rolled 12 when you needed to, then yes. But otherwise, it's like it's a headache,
Yeah, I think so. A couple more questions. TJC, boys, would be interested to hear your thoughts on captaincy choice last week and any lessons. You both moved off Saka to Haaland, despite Southampton at home being one of the best fixtures in the season and Fulham playing up to their opponents. Are there any lessons to learn here? It's interesting, but I don't know if I believe that there are.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is for me because it was more of like I was pretty like initially, okay, this is the guy, this is the thing. And then I did the thing like midweek towards the end of the week of, switching. And,
I was there on Monday pod. I was like, Saka, obvious. But, and then I switched also.
Yeah. And I think it's like if I ask myself, I mean, this is usually always the final question, and which is why I woke up in the middle of the night. Is if this player blanks and I can't, like, which will hurt more? And it was Saka. Like, the answer was not Haaland. Yeah. Like, if I captained Haaland and Saka blank, like, or whatever the thing.
Yeah.
So I think I just didn't listen to it.
I don't know if that's right though. Also,
why?
Like, I just think you would have felt like such a fucking moron if Haaland just hat-tricked and you captain Saka.
Either way.
Yeah, like, I just think that, like, we all would have been like, no matter which way it went, the other people are going to be like, I can't believe you didn't captain Saka in the best fixture. Or I can't believe you didn't captain Haaland at home.
Yeah, that's possible.
But, yeah, I don't really regret doing it.
I think it's just like the threshold for switching off of your initial read needs to be higher, I think, is where I'm feeling about it.
Yeah. And then Richard, speaking of captain, said, is triple captain Haaland this week a silly idea?
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's a really bad idea. Hate it.
It's just stupid. I mean, just wait until he plays Southampton next week. Like, that's the one. Do it then. Then you're fine.
There's a bunch of lifestyle questions, but I think we should move on. No, not really. I mean, they're not clicking with no Kev, no
but Kev's going to be back in a month, right?
He's never back. Is he ever back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fine.
If he starts Wolves and like rests in the Champions League, I might triple cap home Southampton, but
it's pretty good.
I prefer a lot captaining when like they're looking good and Haaland's looking good. And if that's still not the case by then, I'm not going to just force my triple cap and hope that everything clicks in 1 week.
Fair enough.
I'll just wait for a double because I'm a fucking scrub.
Fair enough.
God, we didn't mention the JWP red, but I just couldn't fit it into anything. It was the best thing ever. Can't fit it in.
Yeah.
There's lifestyle questions. I think we'll push it to way the Thursday before the game week and just send us off, right? I mean, I'm getting tired. International break fucking sucks. Here we are.
Yeah, we could do the lifestyle in my life.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, it'll be a little while. Hopefully the Mets are still surviving.
The Mets will be killing it. Yep.
Yeah, when we see each other again in a week and a half. But
yeah.
A good job by you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, good job by you. Let me slap asses. New Patreon signups: Thomas Tislov, Adita Rupani, and Ross Logan. Slap the ass, baby. Get in there. Walsh, any last words? He saluted me for the audio listeners. Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL, Spurs page.com/FMLFPL. Subscribe, rate, do it.